Hello everybody, hope you're having another blessed day. In today's video, we are back on the dueling book for me to share with you guys my Banlist prediction. Cause this turns out that in the next probably about 3 to 4 weeks, we're gonna probably be getting a new Banlist, which is always exciting to see. Now before I even go into discussion what cards are going to be put, I think the 3, 2, 1, Zalo, I will say that I think this format we're currently in is a pretty healthy format, honestly, to think about it. Because in this format now, we've seen a wide range of different kinds of decks be topping at the different events, even though they are online, which is always great to see as compared to previous formats where we've had basically like 1 or 2 decks be the top decks, and yeah, that's not healthy. So a lot of cards going to be seen today are cards I think should probably go into 1. Alright? So with that in mind, let's jump into some cards I think can come back to 3. So as you can see, these are the 4 cards I believe I can either see come into 2 or even potentially to 3 in the next ban list. Starting off, we have Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This is a card that's had errata for about a bit, and basically it makes its effects a hard once per turn. Only time this card was really being abused was when it was not a hard once per turn, so coming back to 3, I still think Dragon Link players will only play this card at 1, because drawing 2 is a very bad brick. Second card. Phantom Sky Blaster. Now, this one most likely is not going to change, mainly because it can be abused to make really easy generic rank 4 plays, like Utopia Double, Abyss Dweller, whatever, I don't remember. Okay, but the reason why it was banned is because it was around during the whole Nightmare Mermaid little combo days. We used to make the Orcus combo easily with any 2 monsters, and this is one of those easy ways to get a ton of tokens, because basically, when it's summoned or flipped face up, you can spell some any number of tokens up to the number of monsters you currently control. So you can technically spam your board with like 2 to 3 tokens per se, which is pretty a good card. However, since the Nightmare Mermaid combo is not a thing, it's not that strong as a once per turn. And also, I feel like this would be a good card to support the new structure deck for the Just From God cards, since they are relying on having multiple cards on the field or tokens to summon them out. So this would be just another good way they can kind of support that deck. So to 2 to 3, I don't know, but I could see this card coming back. Now the next card is going to be Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a card that basically is a quick effect. You can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, negates its effect. So it is your essential negating a hand trap card. Now this card has to come back to 2 to 3, similar to how it's at 2 in OCG, mainly because we do not have Cross Out Designator yet, nor do we know when that card is officially going to be released in the TCG, since it was supposed to be, I believe, in the Egyptian God Structure deck, but guess what? It did not happen. Again, why this is important, because we do not have really any good outs to hand traps currently, at least consistently. Here's a quick comparison, comparing how many hand traps we're having to deal with as compared to our good Call by the Grave like cards. Currently in today's meta, I can think of easily 10 different hand traps that are actually at 3 that can naturally be stopped by Call by the Grave, but this is kind of interaction. There's free Drill, free Shifter, free Effect Fail, free Ghoster, free Herald of Orange Life and Drytron. You got free Skullmine, you got free Ashland, you got free Allied Justice Cycle Reader, you got free DD Crows, and you got free Ghost Spell. As compared, there's only 1 Call by the Grave currently, and 1 Instant Fusion which you have to pay to take up space in your extra deck at the limit Ice Restrict. Yeah, so compared to 30 cards that could potentially be in the game, a lot of people are actually playing 12 to 15 of these cards. You definitely not unknown to see someone playing free Drove, free Ash, free Effect Fail, free Ghost Ogre, Imperms, the whole like. You only have the 1 Call by the Grave that you have to basically hard draw, hopefully get an Instant Fusion going first. So, I do see why we do kind of need Call by the Grave back. Hopefully to 2, hopefully to 3. And then the last card you see going to either 2 or 3 is Red Reboot. Red Reboot is a really good card that can help in today's format. One of the best decks I think is still Eldritch. Eldritch is a trap reliant deck, so this kind of can stop that. And also there is a new deck that is coming out. This is the Maze deck, led by what this card's name is. But basically the whole deck is trap centered, and it's kind of set to be another stun deck. And people's been hyping up this deck to be a very good, maybe potentially top 5, at least tier 1 or 2 deck coming out soon. Or actually is currently out in the new set. So to kind of counter that, I can see Konami bringing back Red Reboot, as another one of those cards kind of shut down on deck, because Red Reboot basically negates from your hand, pay half your life points, the activation of a trap card. and basically says the opponent can activate any more trap cards for the rest of the turn. This could be a very good way at dealing with this deck. So yeah, these are the cards again I could see coming back to 2 or possibly to 3. So let's hop into now some cards. And it's going to be a lot of cards I can see going potentially to 1. Now you can see on here I have 9 cards I can see going to 1, 7 of which will be from 3 to 1, and 2 of which will be from 0 to 1. Alright, so we'll just get out the 2 ones I currently banned. I feel like Joker can definitely come back to 1, mainly because I do not see Electromite coming back. Electromite gives way too much for a deck. Alright, let's take a look at Electromite real quick. Electromite, 1 has the first effect. You can add any impendable monster from your deck to your extra face up. Then also you can destroy 1 card you control to add that face up impendable monster from your extra to your hand. And then also if this card leaves the field, draw 1. Alright, so the price of 2 cards from the monsters, which will have effects in itself, you basically get free effects. So I think that's way too good in today's format, especially what the potential is. Any card to your hand, draw cards also. It's pretty good. Alright, but I feel like something that the deck could definitely use is a Rhoda, because my big belief is that any card that's really a Rhoda should definitely go to 1, mainly because I'm still kind of hurt that Reinforcement Army is at 1 for so long. Oh, why do I hate my card? I do not know. But yeah, Skullbat Joker is basically a Rhoda. All it is a normal summon. You basically add any of their pendulum monsters to their hand, which means it's definitely a card that can hit by Ash, Gamma, you name it, Imperm. And once it loses that normal summon, it will be pretty much dead or hurt unless they have some more combo plays, which I feel like every deck should have the access to and the potential of getting hit by. So Joker to 1. And then the next one is the next Dragon Roll that can definitely come back. Basically, this one's only effect that if you discard it with another card, you can destroy 1 card in the field. That's not broken at all. As compared to the other Dragon Rollers, if you look them up, that are currently banned. So we got, let's see here, we'll go to 0. So that ones we have banned as Title. Title cannot, because that effect, that if you discard it, send 1 monster from your deck to graveyard. So this is a generic way to mill a card. And milling cards, or picking a card from deck to the graveyard, is a very good effect. That's why Forest Burial is at 1. It's a spell card. You have to hard draw it. This one's not only a monster, but also it's basically a Forest Burial. Way too good, can come back. And the same thing with Redox. Redox, my bad, is basically the exact same thing. So this one's special summons from the graveyard. So milling to get effects, and special summons from the graveyard to also potentially get effects. Way too good, as compared to Blaster, which is, again, this is a card that can pop 1 card in the field, not broken at all. Now, going through the list now, the first couple, I'll actually move this one around. Fossil Dig, Magical Meltdown, Tiny, and Silent Mercy, all cards I can see going to 1, mainly because these are the rotas for their own specific decks. Fossil Dig is basically Search Edo, Miscellaneous Source, Hora, Solar Raptor. Now, people saying that Miscellaneous should get hit, and it definitely could. If Miscellaneous gets hit to 1 or to 0, I'll be fine with it. That is the most broken card in that archetype. However, I think Fossil Dig is potentially more broken or more important card in that deck. Just thinking about it, Sullivan by itself is full combo. You can either add Miscellaneous or whatever you need to do. Alright? But if you don't have Miscellaneous and you use Sullivan effect to try to get that to your hand, there's a chance that you would get Ash, Gamma, and you turn or end. And flip-flop, if you don't have Soul Eating, you have Miscellaneous you have basically nothing else in your hand, your turn is already dead. Alright? So Soul Eating by itself is easily getting killed by hand traps in today's meta. Misc by itself isn't doing anything. However, Fossil Egg can not only get you to Soul Eating, which still gets you full combo, if you already have Soul Eating Overraptor, it can search Misc by itself, giving you the chance to chain blocks Soul Eating Overraptor with Miscellaneous and you'll have full combo that way. So I don't like that. One, it's not even once per turn, so that's even more broken. But I don't like how it can easily is a good way to be a generic hand trap bait, and basically helps you get full combo if you already have Soul Eating Overraptor almost guaranteed. So Fossil Egg to 1, and also maybe Miscellaneous, but Fossil Egg I think is the big problematic card. Magical Meltdown, basically the same reason. It is one that basically is the bait out for Alistair, which is already in the hand. Alistair gets summoned. It can get hand trapped. You're good. But if this card actually does go live, not only does it add Alistar to your hand, it also gives you protection that you can't get negated when trying to activate Invocation. And also when you're trying to summon a card, when you summon out your fusion monster, it cannot get stolen because it also has the effect of Meltdown. So Meltdown can also go to 1. Unfortunately, I also think that Tinky has to go to 1 because 2 of the really best decks right now really do abuse this card. And that is going to be Tri Brigade, which has Fractal, I believe, that is a Beast Warrior, which can be added and help go full combo by discarding it. And then send, I think it was Nerval to add to, I think it's Karas. So that's very, very good. And also, Fire Formation Tinky is one that is abused heavily in Zodiac, since all Zodiac monsters are Beast Warriors. So always note that Zodiac decks are ones that have plenty of room to have a bunch of hand traps and your Solemn Judgments or strikes, you name it. Mainly because they can put in free Tinky that takes the place of free Zodiac monsters, because activating Fire Formation Tinky gets you in those Zodiac monsters. So putting this to 1 will require then, I think, Zodiac players to kind of alter their deck choice, which would then make them put in more Zodiac monsters by taking out more of those hand traps, going those counter traps cards, whatever. They'll have to take it out to supplement, add in more monsters to make sure to get the full combo. So it won't hurt the deck, but it will definitely reduce the power of the deck compared to how many hand traps they can play easily in the deck. Now also, unfortunately, Side Mercy is another card that's going to have to go to 1, mainly because Dryton is a deck. This card can search any single Dryton out there because it adds any Light Machine monster. Now, if they said if it added any Light Machine monster as 5 stars or more, this card would never have to get banned, okay? It can search the Kaijus, it can search basically any Cyber Dragon, except for like your combo stars, but since Drytron is a Light Machine, all level 1s, yeah, and once you get one Drytron in your hand, it's going to be a pretty bad day for you if you don't also have Troll, alright? So, Side of Mercy, also to 1. Next one is going to be Scarlet Sanguine. This card, I feel, also needs to go to 1. It is not necessarily the Rhoda. The Rhoda for Eldritch is actually the Cursed Land by paying the life points. Add the Golden Boy to your hand, or also any of the spells or traps that say Golden Land, which is actually not Sanguine. But the reason why Sanguine is so good is that it special summons the Golden Lord from your deck or graveyard, which is very good when you're going first and you set this card with any of the other Golden Land cards. Those cards, each of the Golden Lands have an effect, though after you activate it and you also have a Golden Lord on the board, you get a second effect. Some say like this one, destroy one face-up card, and others say like banishing a card from opponent's graveyard. The reason why that's good, you can activate Conquistador on your opponent's turn, chain with Elixir to get your Golden Lord out, then you get your token monster here out also, and also get the effect to pop a card. So you're also going to be going plus, getting your 2 monsters on the board, destroying a card, and that just works basically every single one of the trap cards. You can also chain a response and get a plethora of effects. So that to me is definitely way, way too good. So I want to reduce that from happening by putting Elixir to 1. Next one, also kind of playing with Eldritch, is Trap Trick. Trap Trick is way too good in today's format since Eldritch is a very good deck right now. So this basically gets guaranteed any of your Eldritch cards you need to search. This even searches Sanguine if you want to. So putting that to 1 checks also Sanguine even more and also the other Eldritch cards. But also Trap Trick is going to be a search in the new meta deck. Okay, and that is again is going to be the Amazements. Now Amazements again is a trap heavy deck, but this can search any of their trap cards centrally. So this is actually going to be one of those best broken decks. Probably want to put a cap on one of those cards that generically searches the traps, while also letting that person play that trap on that same turn. The Trap Trick is one I can see definitely going back to 1, or to 1 first, I don't know. And then for the last card, we have There Can Be Only One. Now I know Rivalry of the Warlords and Goes and Match are at free, and that's because those cards aren't very good in today's meta. There Can Be Only One, however, is very, very good. Alright, I think it's like only one deck that's not affected by it, and that is Prank Kids, but every other card, or every other deck I think right now, gets killed by this, okay? Dragon Link gets killed, Shaddoll I think gets killed, My Dyke Warriors get slaughtered. You know, a lot of decks get killed by that, and usually these flood rate trap cards that are very good at least in this form of fashion, are typically put to 1. We can look right here on the ban list, for example, and like Microcosmos hits out 1. We keep going down. Skills Range is definitely one that comes to mind. It's a very good card that gets card effects, and they got put to 1 also, due to how broken the cards are. So I can definitely see there can be only one going to 1, especially since it has had its multiple reprints, so it's not like they'll try to make money off it anymore. Alright. So there you guys have it. There's all the cards I can definitely see coming to 1. And now it's time to move on to the final cards that I can see actually getting banned. So let's hop into it. So starting off, there's actually going to be one spell trap main deck card that can get banned. Okay, and that's going to be Nadir's Servant. Now, I was originally thinking this card could go to 1, but mainly because its cost will always still apply even if you negate it like an Ash. So its cost is they can send one monster from your exile to the graveyard. For example, there are cards that when sent to the graveyard, if you take a gainer and a good old searcher here, we have Titanic Lad right here. Titanic Lad, if you do send it to the graveyard, has an in-phase effect that then also lets you special summon a Dogmatico monster from your deck, which I believe is Equatia, something like that. And then you also get Florderies to your hand. So basically you get a monster and also a monster effect negate, I believe. Free of cost even after your card gets negated. Alright. Not to mention all the other cards that can also be sent to the grave. Some cards negate card effects, some cards let you, like if you send, I think it's Winda to the grave or something like that, or a Construct, you get a Shadal card to your hand. So there's just so many plethora of ways that this card is still so strong even when you negate it. So because it has those kind of double effects from one card, I unfortunately gotta say it's gonna have to get banned. Now, next card. We've been saying for a while that LP definitely needs to get banned, mainly because a lot of other decks on the ban list that have effects that let you spell something from the deck eventually do get banned. Unless you're my boy Isolde, and Isolde is too strong to get banned. Ha ha ha. But also because Isolde does have that really high effect of having to mill equip spells, and equip spells do take up a good portion of your deck, so you do have to run the risk of running in bricks, which is kind of the trade-off for that. But this one doesn't really have that problem at all, because not only can it spell from the deck, and also do it from the hand. And basically this card helps you get 4 on the combo, and once you do get the LP, you usually have some way to play through a Nibiru, be it having spears on the board, or some other form of extender past that point. So it is very, very not good for the game. The only little card that could get banned besides LP would actually be Striker Dragon. Maybe because I feel like Striker Dragon is typically like the first card or the opponent goes into when they're playing Dragon Link. This helps you add a Boot Sector launch in your hand. Then you can destroy this card. Destroy this card, and then you basically get add a, let's say, use Tracer to summon this card back to your hand. So that's not bad either. But I still think LP is going to have to meet that card, and it's not going to kill Dragon Links at all, since you'll still have Pisty, so as long as one of these guard dragons are alive, Dragon Links are still alive also. But yeah, LP is going to get banned. It's special summon from the hand Horde deck is just way too strong. Alright, next card I can see getting banned is Herald of Arc Light. This is going to be one that is going to hit, honestly, a plethora of decks. Because I played this card before, I've seen Infernobles play this card, Dinosaurs playing this card. But the main deck that's abusing this card is Drytron. Because not only when they make this card do they have a way to negate basically any card effect to help them keep comboing off safely, but when they do have to negate a card effect trying to stop them like a Draw, Ash Blossom, Imperm, something like that, they can distribute this card to negate it. And once they distribute this card and it goes to the graveyard, it has that secondary effect to add any ritual monster or ritual spell card from their deck to the hand, which is broken as anything for Drytron, for sure. Okay, so not only get to negate with this card, they get any search they really need to keep comboing off past that negate. And for that reason, Herald Arc Light, you're going to have to go. Okay, we'll check those rogue decks, they taking away extra negate they may have, and basically free Macrocosmos, while also hitting a lot harder Drytron. Alright, and the last realistic one I can see is Prank Kids Doodle Doodle Doo getting banned. Alright, Prank Kids is definitely, I think, a top 5 deck right now for sure. And I feel like this is the big problematic card for that deck and reason why it's so good. Doodle Doodle Doo has the effect that when you Link Summon it, you can add any Prank Kid spell trap from your deck to your hand. So that by itself is a pretty good effect, okay? That's very good. The reason why it has to get banned is because it has a secondary effect. And if we now stop giving these secondary effects, we wouldn't have much of a problem. Alright, but secondary effect that you can then tribute this card to basically bring back to your hand those 2 prank cards you sent to the graveyard. Meaning not only you get the fusion spell, you also get the materials you need to send. Again, this reminds me of like Electromite or Salamangreat Almirage. Not Almirage, but Salamangreat. Oh, what is that card called? Salamangreat Mirage Stalio. Which again, it's one effect spell someone from your deck in defense position. It also has a secondary effect you can top a monster on the field, return to your hand. Yeah, this card extra summon, sent to graveyard. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, because it also gives you a help you get extra extenders later on. So, not very healthy. Okay. Now, the last 2 cards I can see getting banned. I wish they would get banned. Is Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. Because this card is like God incarnate. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. So, check that off the list. So you can only destroy it by battle. And that by itself would make it a very good card still, but it also has the effect that during your playing phase, if you summon this card with both Dark Magician and a Red Eyes Black Dragon, which you don't actually have to, you can just send a Dragon Effect monster, okay, that you can also destroy up to 2 cards on the field and inflict damage to your opponent equal to original attack. Okay, so it also does a good, it's also spot removal and very good burn damage. That by itself will make it a very, very good card, but wait, there's more. Okay, it also is a generic negate. Okay, you can discard 1 card and negate any card that's activated. And if you do destroy that card, you gain 1,000 attack permanently. And at that point, this card gets very problematic because initially at 3,000, a lot of decks can deal with a 3,000 attack monster. But once they get to the point that are stronger than 3,000, I feel like it gets really hard to take care of this card. Alright, downright oppressive. The only thing that really beats this card is basically Dark Ruler no more. And if you don't top deck your Dark Ruler, there's a good chance you're not going to beat Dragoon. And I have seen someone post that boards that made Dark Dragoon have almost a 90% win rate. And cards that almost guarantee yourself wins 9 out of 10 times, it's probably not be in the game. So even though it has not been reprinted, I hope to God this card gets banned. But since again it has not been reprinted, it's probably going to stick around until it gets that reprint. Now the other card I think I wish would get banned, I hate this card more than Dragoon, is Zeus. Okay, I've seen people say this card should go to 1. I think it should go to none. And because it can be splashed in really any deck, you don't have to play really any bricks if you're playing a lot of decks. As compared to Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, you have to play the Fusion, you have to play the Predaplant, you have to play the Dark Magician and Red Eyes in your deck also, which are really bad draws. Zeus you don't have to, you just got to play any XYZ monster that can either not be destroyed by battle, or it's strong enough to survive any battle it does. Okay? And soon you smack this sucker on top of that, you're probably going to win the game. I'm pretty sure it has a similar win rate as Dragoon. I haven't checked on that, but I would guess it's probably up in the 70-80% for sure. Mainly because it has the effect that as a quick effect, you can attach 2 materials and send every other card to the graveyard. Alright? Now, if it was not a quick effect, I would have no problem with this card. Alright? But the problem is, that's also not once per turn. Yeah, not once per turn at all. So as long as you have, say, 4 materials on this card, you activate, your opponent tries to imperm it tries to effect failure, it tries to do whatever. Yeah, guess what? It ain't gonna matter. You can just activate in response to that also. So activate Zeus, clear the board. I negate with infinite perms. I negate with Dragoon. And now, okay, you negate with that. Well, I'll just chain it a second time, steer clear the board completely. Yeah. Fairly problematic. You can easily see Zodiac's abuse this card with those 17 material Zodiac monsters, it seems like. And you have a Zeus that will never leave the board. Alright. So, 2-1, still very strong. I would prefer this card to get banned, and I hope it gets banned in the near future. But yeah, with that, that's going to do it for my ban list, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please, if you like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That helps you support me and helps me make more videos for you to enjoy. Now, do you guys agree with this ban list, or do you have your own thoughts you want to share? If you do, go down in the comment section down below and comment down below your own thoughts on my predictions and what you think may actually happen in the upcoming ban list, because I'd love to see it. Now with that, you know what it's time for me to say. I hope this week is a blessed, and I hope so again in the next video. And with that in mind, I'm out.